it's Carrie here from the Female Entrepreneur Association, and welcome to the 10-Minute Masterclass, your weekly dose of inspiration to build a successful business. So, as entrepreneurs, I am personally finding that I'm writing more and more copy. So whether it's through blogging, through emails, through social media, through creating free worksheets and guides and all sorts, we're all writing more and more because it's a way for us to communicate our brand with our audience, which is kind of important. However, I think the massive challenge that I've definitely faced before is the fact that it's a noisy world, and there are so many people who are doing amazing things and writing amazing things, and you think, oh my gosh, that's so great, and maybe you want to sound like that, or whatever it is. Sometimes it can be a struggle to actually figure out what your own unique voice is, which is a bit problematic because then you don't necessarily get your message across in the way you would like. So if you ever feel like this, then you are going to love this session because we are joined by the amazing Lacy Boggs. She is an innovative wordsmith. She's brilliant, and she's going to be sharing her tips with us on how you can uncover your voice. So Lacy, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm glad to be back with you.
I know, I'm so glad to have you back. For everyone else, so Lacy came and we did another masterclass and it was amazing, so I will leave a link to that below, so you should definitely go and check that one out too. But I'm excited to talk about this because I do feel like, I know for myself, I write a lot of content and create a lot of content, and I think so many entrepreneurs now are, but I know I felt like this when especially at the beginning, where you're not really quite sure what your voice should be, and even though we think, it still sounds silly because we know ourselves, but then when it comes to actually putting kind of pen to paper, really, and putting stuff out there, sometimes, well, I know for me, the fear is, or the thought is, should it sound like this? Should it be like this? Do we need to be more professional? Can I say this? And that kind of stuff. So that you end up like backing away from naturally what you want to say. So I'm excited to talk about it. So let's just jump in. What are the things that people can do to uncover their own amazing voice?
Right. So I think you hit the nail on the head there. A lot of people think that they should sound like something. They should sound a particular way. So some people will think, oh, I should sound more professional because this is my business. Or some people go the complete opposite way. They have someone that they follow online that has a really big, bold voice, and so they try to emulate that. I feel like I should sound like that because I like this person so much. But what you really need to do is find your voice, because I truly believe that when people are working with you, buying from you, whatever it may be, they're buying you. So none of us has a completely unique, one-of-a-kind business. Everybody has options out there. So when they buy from you, they're buying you. And so that's why I say my tip number one is that your voice is your most powerful branding asset. And what I mean by that, some people don't know what branding is necessarily, but what I mean by that is it's how people come to know who you are and what to expect from you. So, think about some of your favorite bloggers. Like I love Danielle Laporte, I love Seth Godin, I like Marie Forleo, I like, some of these big names. If I put a Facebook post up with a quote, you could almost tell who that was without me adding their name, because they have such a strong voice. And now none of them got there overnight. None of them developed that super strong voice overnight, but now that they have it, it's part of their brand. It's who they are. And that's what's so important about developing your voice and finding your true voice, which is a little easier said than done.
Yeah.
So,
but I think it's right though. Like when you do see things, you can, like you just said about if you saw something that Marie Forleo wrote or someone like Danielle Laporte, it's them. But then I love the fact that you said it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight.
Absolutely.
It's good to know.
Yeah. So my tip number two is that your voice is in the details. And what I mean by that is it's in the words you choose and the way you choose to string them together. So a lot of times when we're writing, we're so focused on getting the concept out, the thought, whatever the idea is, maybe we're not so focused on how the words sound. But if you're looking to develop your voice or even to find your voice, you need to look at those pieces, at those words, because that's where your voice is. So here's the example I always like to use. We all know that there's lots of different ways to say the same thing, right? So are you going to say, buy my product, get my product, acquire my product, invest in my product? They all have a slightly different flavor. So if I was writing for something that was super low price, super kind of bright and flashy, I might say buy or get. If I was writing for you, Carrie, or for somebody with a more elegant feminine brand, I would probably go more towards acquire or invest, because those feel softer, they feel more elegant, they feel more refined, and so it's a different meaning, even though they all mean the same thing. They all mean buy my product. So it's about finding those exact right words for you and for what you want to say.
How do you do that, though?
Okay,
is it just by paying attention?
Yeah, so it's a matter of trial and error, and it's a matter of editing. So I'm not asking you to get out your thesaurus for every single word on your website, because that would be great. But, you know, think about what those power words are for you, and think about how you're already expressing yourself and whether or not you like it. So the way I sometimes walk people through it is to take a look at a blog post or your web page, and then take a look at something personal you've written, maybe in a journal, maybe a letter to a friend, maybe your personal Facebook updates. And how do those two jive? Are they the same, or are they very, very different? Because the words you choose when you're really being yourself, in a journal, in a letter to a friend, whatever it might be, those are the ones that are really you. And so that's how you kind of can find that tone that you're looking for. And then when you're writing something, a blog post, web copy, whatever it might be, once you've gotten the ideas out, do that first. And then go back and read it for that tone. Does this feel right? Does this emphasize what I want to emphasize? And a lot of my clients have very different tones that they want to approach. You know, I have a health coach who, her whole thing is she wants to feel like you're sitting knee to knee with her, sipping a cup of tea in her living room, like super loving, caring. She wants to surround you with warmth. But then I have another gentleman who is a big data analyst. And so if I approached it in the same way for him, it would be totally wrong for his brand, right? He's much more data, here's the facts, this is how it is, whereas my health coach client is much more like, let me love you and help you. So the words I choose have to be very different.
That is, I mean, it's such a good point, though. I mean, everyone has such a different voice, but it has such an impact at conveying the brand that you're building up.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think finding those details that make you you, and then really keeping them consistent, that's my third tip for you, is to really try to keep them consistent across the board. So what you said at the very beginning was that you know, we're all writing more copy and all these things, but everything you write is copy. Everything you write is branding, from the tiniest tweets all the way to your longest blog post. So you want to be consistent. So a really great example of this is I have a friend who's a real estate agent, and on her personal Facebook page, like every other update, she's using like every emoji known to man, and she uses ellipses like after every sentence. It's all like this, and she came to me and she was like, I guess when I create my website and write my blog, I have to get rid of all my emoji and all my ellipses and stuff. And I said, no, because people are buying you, especially as a real estate agent, but in any business, you know, they're buying you. They want to work with you. So I said, you know, maybe for your website copy, you tone down the emojis a little bit. But if you're writing blogs, they can still be like a conversation. And so it can still be very much you talking to the world in the way you would. I think that's, so finding what makes you you and what those details are going to be needs to be consistent across the board, from your Twitter account all the way through your branding copy and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I love that, and I love how the tips you said and how simple they actually are to actually put into, to take action on, really. And I think for me, the one thing I found is just paying attention to what I say and noticing. So, for example, everyone probably knows this, but I say the word amazing probably more than I should. And I'll say things like lovely or wonderful, and it's naturally part of the kind of things I would say. I mean, sometimes I hold back because, like, sometimes the word splendid comes out of my mouth and I'm like, shouldn't really use this in public in front of people. It's a funny word. But it just noticing those kinds of things and the kind of words I'm using and the way, like, the way, for example, saying lovely or wonderful, it's different to saying great or nice, and And I realised for me that's a part of the brand, those words, because they have so much feeling to them, and it's the feeling that I want to conjure up for someone who's experiencing the Female Entrepreneur Association. But literally that has been a process of like 4 years or something of like paying attention, and it's like that conscious decision of how do I want to make someone feel when they read this and when they see what I have actually written, and
100% yes.
yeah, and creating something that actually feels good, because like you said, it is, I mean, I said it earlier as well, but you said it as well, it is a noisy world, and there is so that temptation to see what someone else has done and be like, oh, that's so good. For example, like I can't think now, but like there's people out there that write such good copy, and you read it and you're just like, oh my gosh, that's so good, I want to be more like that. And they have to like take a step back and just think, no, because you are never like that in real life, so don't ever try and write like that when you're in like the virtual world. So I just try and like keep to those rules, and it seems to have worked quite well. But I like how you've broken it all down, so thank you so much for coming to share those tips with us.
Oh, my pleasure.
Oh, thank you. And I hope you have all enjoyed it too. So I'm going to set you a challenge to go along with this masterclass, and it's to go and pay attention and look and find the details. You know, maybe go back and take half an hour to maybe read through a journal, or go and scroll through your personal Facebook page and pay attention to the language that you're using, and consider how you want to integrate that into what you're doing with your business, and just get really clear on it. And then head over back to the blog and leave a comment and share some of those details with us. Share some of those things that you found, because it might be really helpful for other people to see. So definitely get involved in that. And I will see you next week for another 10-minute masterclass. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch one of our videos. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I've got something really exciting that I would love to send your way. We have created the Make It Happen guided visualization for you to listen to every single day for the next 30 days to help you to condition yourself to make incredible things happen. And along with that, we have the Make It Happen workbook to help you to get really clear on your goals, to get so much focus and clarity, to make a plan of action so you know what you need to do and when you need to do it. So if you would love us to send them your way, then all you need to do is subscribe to the email list below, and they will be on their way to you. So definitely do that and come and join an incredible group of women who are so passionate and determined to achieve amazing things and build successful businesses. And I will see you next week for another 10-minute masterclass.